What it do, flight crew? FTC. Flight team, stand up! Spring is sprung. The month of April has now begun. We got everything you need to know before the 2026 NBA playoffs. Everybody in the chat right now, if you have an NBA team that is currently in the playoffs, comment down below. And you had to have been a fan before the playoffs started, bro. I'm going to know because I asked y'all niggas, what was y'all favorite team in the beginning of the season? So I don't want to see y'all start, nah. All right, keep that same energy, all right? You guys know my Warriors are in the playoffs. We got a new channel. I think it's my first time reacting to him. Shout out to Daniel Lee. You know what I'm saying? Get him to 200K. But this looks like an informative video, man. I want to be on point. You know what I'm saying? It's time to lock in. This 2026 NBA season has kind of been all over the place, especially with injuries. It's now crunch time. It is now officially the playoffs, man. So let's check this out.
Over and it's time for the playoffs. Whether you watch every game or haven't been able to keep up at all, this is what you need to know about every playoff team. I've broken these playoff teams into 6 tiers, starting with the teams that are just happy to be here. And if you stay until the end, you'll hear my prediction for the 2026 champs. This tier is exactly what it sounds like. Teams are just happy to be here and are probably not going any further. The Clippers already accomplished their 2 main goals this season. Get younger by trading James Harden.
Bro, I said this yesterday, bro. Clippers, I don't think,
For Benedict Mathurin and Darius Garland, and make the play-in so OKC does not have a great pick. This team is still too old and slow to keep up defensively, and they don't have another reliable scorer alongside Kawhi Leonard. The biggest storyline surrounding this team will be what happens in the Kawhi Leonard case when the offseason comes.
Nah, man.
This is a lost year for Golden State, with Jimmy Butler out for the season. And then Steph Curry went down with a knee injury, which is why Golden State has slipped down in the standings. This season is a win if they luck into a top pick, and Brandon Pochevsky does not get locked into an expensive contract.
They're saying the Warriors are just happy to be in the playoffs, bro. Come on, man. Stop acting like we not about to, you know what I'm saying, make some history starting tomorrow, bro. A lot of these NBA teams are fearing us right now, especially in an elimination game situation.
For a mediocre start, the Blazers ended the season really strong.
Blazers I agree on that. I've been said that.
Best defense in the league. With a plethora of great guard and wing defenders, they like to push up really high and make the ball handler work. Danny Avdija has also continued to build his game up as a great slasher, especially on a team with minimal shooting. But besides him, the Blazers don't have enough ball handlers to keep up with good defensive teams. The Heat have had a great season given their roster. Spo has revamped the offense to become much more ISO-heavy and fast-paced, and most will remember the 2026 Heat for a historic game from Bam Adebayo when he scored 83 points against the Wizards. But this team is just not talented enough to give anyone a scare, even with a coach like Spo running the show. This next category is called meh for teams that didn't luck into the playoffs, but are very obviously mid.
Magic. I ain't gonna lie, the Magic shocked me, though. Magic shocked me.
Despite
I think the Magic, I don't know. They getting
who's had a
swept.
good season. Their offense is
If
still
they make
below
it
league average.
past the
main
play-in.
reason is because of their inability to attack the basket. Banchero and Wagner are both huge, but they're not quick, so they have a hard time creating good angles around.
Who I think's gonna win, bro? Come on, you asking me the dumbest question in the world. Warriors is winning the finals, man.
On the rim.
And if somehow they don't make it to the finals, I got the Spurs. But don't say I'm a bandwagon. I'm just
team seems like they have the personnel
educational.
For the
Yes,
their offense is just too clunky for them to make a real run. This postseason determines if Jamal Mosley is fired and hopes of getting a coach that's more offensively inspired.
Bro, I don't know why, bro. I'm feeling like these 2022 Warriors all over again, bro. We're gonna sneak right into the finals.
Season. Their first round pick, VJ Edgecombe, looks like a great piece for the future. Joel Embiid actually played for decent stretches of the season and has started to look like himself again. And with Tyrese Maxey taking another leap as a scorer, the Sixers have gone to him down the stretch. Because of his quickness, he has the best chance to draw 2 and find his teammates for open shots. But this team is just not strong enough defensively. Joel Embiid is not laterally quick enough to be the defensive anchor he was in the past, and his team is just too old and small to really hang with any of the East contenders. Watch for teams to try to go small to spread them out, especially at the end of games. The Toronto Raptors are also one of the pleasant surprises in the East. Once known only as a scorer, Brandon Ingram has become one of the better defenders on this team.
Yeah, them getting Brandon Ingram.
One of the best defenders in the league in Scotty Barnes, and that's how the Raptors have the 6th best defense. Barnes is one of the most versatile wing defenders, as he can guard 1 through 5, and Ingram does a great job using his length
Scotty
to play
Barnes
passing.
carrying them Raptors.
They have other gritty defenders.
What up, Jose?
Jamal Shed, who has been a great spark off the bench as well. The problem is, this team just doesn't have enough on the offensive end. Barnes and Ingram both aren't great shooters, so they like to operate from the mid-range area, and the Raptors just don't have enough shooting around them to really give one of the East teams a real series. The Suns look like a really impressive team for the first 4 months, but a cold ending to the season has them in this category.
Bro, if it's anything for me to tell you, do not trust anything with the Buns, bro.
Ripping off Kevin Durant.
No,
they built
not
a team
falling
by
for this.
becoming the Walmart version of the Detroit Pistons. They grab the fourth most offensive rebounds because they have at least 2 people crashing the glass at all times. And they also forced the 3rd most turnovers this season, right behind Detroit and OKC. And just like those 2 teams, the Suns go 10 deep as well, which is how they bring that energy every night. Where they have struggled, though, is on the offensive end. This is a team that plays a lot of pick and roll, but they don't have the elite playmaking to be playing this style. This is already a successful season, and look for them to find.
They just don't even have a bench, too, bro.
These next teams aren't title contenders, but they have enough to at least make their first-round opponent uncomfortable and can even win a series.
Warriors should have been here. Come on, man. The
Here's
Hornets.
a crazy stat about the Charlotte
Now, I
Hornets.
ain't gonna lie. I actually want LaMelo to, like, do good as possible. But, bro, come on. The Hornets.
When their normal starting 5 all play, they are 27-7 as of the end of March. And it's for good
27-7?
reason. This team goes as far as LaMelo Ball goes because he's the only passer on this team.
LaMelo's gonna have
He
to
wants
average, like,
initiate guard
35 a
guard
game, bro.
Because the screener can then choose what to do. Here, the Hawks are in a 3-2 zone, so Kadipple and the Kalkbrenner are both up, trying to set screens for LaMelo. Now, Kadipple has the choice to set the screen, but he sees all the space on the wing. So he just slips that screen and move out there. No Hawk player can pick him up in time, and that's just too easy. This has been Charlotte's go-to action, and a main reason they have a top 5 offense to start 2026. Musa Diabate is also their one-man defense. The Hornets' perimeter defenders aren't great, but what they'll do is funnel the ball handler into Diabate, who then can clean up the
What up,
press.
Noah?
He's also been great at guarding multiple things at a time, and it's because he can read the player's instincts and then make the right play accordingly. Their biggest weakness, though, is their lack of size. Diabate and Kalkbrenner are both very lanky, so they don't have trouble dealing with bruiser type of bigs. Also, with so many defensive responsibilities shouldered to them, look for opposing teams to bring them out and then find guys in the paint. Assuming they get out of the plane, this team's offense is very potent, but how their bigs hold up will determine how
Said,
far they
can't
can
wait
go.
for the Warriors to lose tomorrow. It's not gonna happen, bro. You're gonna be waiting
The Atlanta
forever.
Hawks enter the playoffs.
Hey,
and
I'm
the
not gonna
hottest teams in
lie.
that
I smell a blowout by the Warriors, bro. 30-point blowout.
basketball.
And we're gonna
If
review
you
some of the
Jalen
stuff
Johnson-
too once we get into the like segment later. Like if you've been hearing they're trying to give Curry minutes restriction, I'm gonna talk about that later, bro.
primary playmaker, and getting
You
to kill
think that-
Alexander Walker from free agency has paid off. But the biggest key to their success is actually Dyson Daniels. What makes Daniels interesting is that he shoots less than 20% from the three-point line, but he's impacted the offense
Bro.
in so many other ways.
You really think the Hawks have a chance in the playoffs, dog?
First, he's been great at attacking the basket, either from the dribble handoff when the defense takes away the first option, or when he has the ball and the defense is completely sagging off of him. He also ignites the
I must
offensive
be missing
transition,
something about
pushing
the Hawks.
tempo, and either finding
No
his team
Trae
for
Young
good
no
shots
more?
or taking it himself to the basket. Because Daniels has been much more forceful with the basketball, everyone on the Hawks is now a scoring threat. Besides Daniels, this team has 4 or 5 guys that can all attack the basket. And the reason they have so much space is because they have 2 stretch bigs. Onyeka Okongwu shoots 38% from the three-point line, and when he goes to the bench, the Hawks can slot Jock Landale into that same exact spot. This gives the Hawks so much space to ISO, and then they can play off of that. Defensively speaking, this team is very active and has a lot of great perimeter defenders. Dyson Daniels is the most obvious, but with Kuminga, Alexander Walker, and Okongwu there as well, the Hawks do a great job keeping everything in front, and
we
they can
got
teach
defense?
with tough shooting. That's why this team is going to be a handful in the first round series, and if they continue to advance.
Jalen Johnson's
This
nice.
next category are teams that have a lot
But-
of talent, but have been disappointing and are likely
He's talking
hitting
about
home
some
earlier than
Dyson
expected.
Daniels. Pretenders.
The Houston
Okay, I
Rockets
ain't gonna
come
lie. I
into the
agree with
playoffs
this.
as one of
I
the
agree with this take.
Hottest teams
I
in
think the
basketball.
Rockets, if Luka Magic and AR don't come back in this series, I 100% got the Rockets in 5 games. The Lakers will win one. You know, LeBron gonna have his like 35, 40-point game, but bro, without them. But second round, oh no, they getting swept by somebody, bro.
But
And
there's
then
still
part 2 of the KD files.
a lot to be concerned about. Let's start with their shooting. Amen Thompson is only shooting 23% from the three-point line, so a lot of big men will be guarding him, but they're actually helping out in other areas. You couple that with Tari Eason, who was in one of the biggest shooting slumps in March, and another non-shooter.
Rockets
in
is
Alfred
taking
Sheen,
it, you
There's
think?
reasons to be concerned.
Pause,
the biggest
man.
factor is their poor spacing. On too many possessions, especially down the stretch,
I
Ime
don't see
Udoka
it.
has not figured out how to position and move their players in
Bro,
a way to
all right.
help the defense.
I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think KD hasn't did it yet, but if the time is, it's now, bro. If you tell KD to literally deactivate all his social medias until the playoffs is over, Rockets actually genuinely could probably have a chance to go to the 3rd round, but he's not gonna genuinely do that. He's not gonna. Who the crazy's gonna be like, bro? I mean, he's not taking advice from Flight.
On their toes because
But if
everyone
he
is
does that,
interested.
Rockets are a guaranteed 3rd round team. I just feel like they have too many distractions and too much like shit off the court when it's the playoffs, bro.
Defenses can load up on the ball handler, and they haven't figured out many counters to that. The most obvious time was when the Lakers spent a whole half doubling Kevin Durant. Durant had a hard time
Whoa.
navigating those double teams, and the Rockets players couldn't position themselves in spots to take advantage of it. The key to Houston
Yo, Chad, what we doing?
making a deeper run is Alperen Şengün. Their offense is at their best when they have Şengün at the top of the key, and he's able to find his own shot in that one-on-one matchup. When teams feel that Şengün is getting into an offensive rhythm, that's when they start doubling, and that opens everything up, especially for his teammates that can't shoot. Look for Şengün to be aggressive early and often to help open up the entire offense. With that said, though, the Rockets' inability to space is the biggest concern, which will make their run through the Western Conference that much tougher.
Cavs.
Coming into the season, the Cavaliers were one of the favorites to come out of the East. After a disappointing start to the season, they made some bold moves, trading Darius Garland for James Harden and acquiring key role players like Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder. Their saving grace.
Bro said Dennis Schroeder.
Harden has been an impressive
Bro,
addition,
what is he doing in the
especially when he's
playoffs?
paired with Jared Allen. Allen's very good at just finding soft spots on Harden drives, and Harden does a great job finding him in those pockets.
It could
When
be
they
a
first
hit
get
or miss.
together,
That's why I
Jared
wasn't
Allen-
being so quick to be like, I don't think the Cavs can necessarily be pretenders. Because I was going to say, it seemed like since Harden went to the Cavs, he's been playing his role. Bro's averaging like these assists and shit. Like,
Allen had
bro,
his best month ever in February.
Mitchell's gonna have
And
to
his
put up like
addition
28
has really
a
dominated
game.
Mitchell's offensive
Harden
workload
like
significantly.
25,
The reason this team is
a few
contender,
40-point
though, is
games.
because they are very small, and in the playoffs where mismatch hunting will be even more apparent, there are too many players that opposing teams can attack. Even if the Cavs bring sufficient help to the ball, a simple kickout pass or two will be good enough to then get a good shot. So even though they got rid of Darius Garland, their defense after the trade deadline is still below league average. This team can then be very prone to big runs. If their shots don't go down, they're not strong enough defensively to keep them in the game. The Thunder went on a 28-5 run to start the game against them without SGA or Jada. And later in the month, the Heat embarrassed them in the fourth quarter by outscoring them by 17 points. So the game can quickly get away from them, which is not a great recipe for success if they want to go on a deep run.
Lakers, we already been on this.
The Lakers are pretenders right
Hey,
now.
bro,
because
I
this
ain't
team
gonna lie. Lakers, Twitter's gonna get toxic. I'm already predicted right now.
Players are hurt. This is a very top-heavy squad that loves using high.
If I'm the Lakers players, they better come out with their A game. And even still, I don't even know if that's gonna be enough. I'm already gonna call it now. Ayton of DeAndre is gonna be the first one flamed. If I'm Ayton, I'm making sure I'm in the lab right now, bro. You better average at least 20 and 10 so you can keep them off your back. Who do you think the second's gonna be? Do you know they're gonna? I ain't gonna lie. I feel bad for my man Bronny. They're gonna somehow bring Bronny into this. Oh yeah, and guys, let me know if there's extra clips right now too. Y'all making a poll on this? 87%. Hey, bro, I'm just chilling, man. Turn up Tuesday. Hey, man, if you feeling good right now, man, spam W's in chat, man. If you was healthy right now, spam W's in the chat, man. Smarter Marcus. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes on these Lakers drafts, I'm forgetting he be in the NBA sometimes. I don't think so. I'm not gonna lie. Here's what I think. Ayton's gonna be, when the Lakers lose, most of the blame's gonna be on Ayton. They're gonna bash him for sure. I don't even think he's gonna be able to avoid it. And then it's gonna be LeBron. Even if LeBron averages like 30, they're gonna still put some type of blame on him. They're gonna drag Bronny into this. And then probably like the Hayes dude or something. That's my prediction.
So it's dependent on fantastic playmaking.
Now, if Luka can come back, he'll save everything.
For the offense to be cohesive. If Luka and Reeves come back, the next thing to watch for is their defense. What made them so successful in March was how active this team was, especially with their hands in smart positioning. DeAndre Ayton is a big key to this. Notice how his hands are up to deter any pass, so the Wolves try to reset the possession. Ayton's pushing up, so Ant tries going downhill, who then runs right into Smart for a charge. The other edge they have is clutch time. They're 22-7 in clutch games, and a lot of that is
Really?
Luka making tough shots, but JJ Redick has drawn
But
up
how
big
many of
plays
those shots
when
was made because of Luka, though?
it matters most. Needing a 3 to tie and only 1 second to go, JJ Redick called an elevator play to the opposite corner that got a really clean look for Austin Reeves, but he just couldn't knock it down. Look for him to draw up some really creative sets in the playoffs when the Lakers need a basket. But again, none of this matters if Luka and Reeves can't come back in time. Otherwise, they would be in this next category. This next tier is called dangerous but flawed. These are teams that can make a deep playoff run, but they have a glaring flaw.
Dangerous but flawed. Yeah.
The
I mean,
Detroit
the
Pistons
Cade
are the
Cunningham
biggest
injury is
sleepers coming
scary.
into the playoffs, despite the fact that they are the number 1 seed. The reason this team has been so good is by winning on the margins. This team has amazing depth. They play 10 guys almost every single night, and they all can defend. so they took a page out of OKC's playbook, essentially trying to be as physical as possible at the point of attack.
All right, man, we'll look at the
If one
clips
guy's
after.
in foul trouble, they can bring in someone off the bench to then do the same thing. As a result, this team forces the most turnovers in the league, and is the reason why they continue to win despite Cade Cunningham being out. The other way this team wins is on the offensive glass. This team is third in offensive rebounds this season because of Jalen Duren. Duren is such a force around the rim because of his big build and motor. He's great at getting rebounds in traffic, and his threat as a rebounder only puts more pressure on the defense. Here, Tobias Harris is posting up to Monty Kamara, and Donovan Clingan is trying to help. As Harris starts to shoot, Clingan seems to be in good position, but Duren uses his left arm to tip the ball to himself, and that allows him to score at the rim. The main concern is their lack of shooting. Besides Duncan Robinson, they have very streaky shooters in Kevin Huerter and Tobias Harris. So just like against Houston, big men will be on their non-shooters and then just camp out in the paint. This was most evident against San Antonio, with Wemby just roaming off and getting in Cade's way enough to make it tough on him. Based on how they shoot or how they space the floor will determine if this team can make the finals.
Knicks.
The Knicks came into the season hiring Mike Brown in place of Tom Thibodeau.
I just think the Knicks are just like the third round at tops team, and then
They're playing with more motion.
They're not getting to the finals though.
They have done that by making Karl Anthony Towns a passing hub, allowing him to either run dribble handouts or let him find cutters at the basket. This creates tons of misdirection. Brunson setting a screen for McBride to take this triple handoff from Cat.
Unless Cat averages like 32.
By squeezing through the screen to cut towards the basket, and that's when the Knicks are at their best. With more motion, the Knicks have the third best offense in the NBA. But where things get more interesting is when Brunson can't make plays with the ball. When he's off the ball, teams will deny him, which forces other guys to find their shot. And when Brunson has the ball, some teams have had tons of success doubling him, so he can't beat them with his shooting. This has taken Brunson out of games at times, and is something that smart teams will try in the playoffs. The other main factor
they just
is
exposed Brunson
on defense. Last year, the Pacers picked apart the Knicks' defense because they would put one or both of them in the action almost every single possession. So the Knicks will need to find ways to hide both of them defensively to make the finals for the first time in a really long time. The Minnesota Timberwolves are the team that can beat or lose to anyone. The reason this team is dangerous is because they can play at
They've been having some health issues though, right? Gobert, I ain't seen Gobert in like a month.
Pace.
Then Ant just came back
at the trade deadline. Their pace jumped from 23rd to 9th for the rest of the season. He's played particularly well with Bones Highland off the bench because they both like to run in transition. And because they can find their own shots, the Wolves suddenly have one of the deepest benches as well. The other factor is the breakout of Jaden McDaniels. His stats on paper don't look like it, but he has expanded his isolation game. When Ant has to get the ball out of his hands, McDaniels is his go-to guy. And it's his improved footwork and balance that has then increased his scoring opportunities.
Demon Reacts, what up?
Paint. He's also shooting a career-high 42% from the three-point line and has punished teams for leaving him alone. On the other hand, the Wolves are inconsistent because of their passing. No one on this team averages more than 5 assists a game, and it shows when they're forced to pass. On this one, Julius Randle's trying to post Derrick Jones Jr. up, and Kawhi Leonard comes over to double, but Randle's way too nonchalant with the pass, and it gets deflected. This is particularly concerning, especially when teams are going to bring more on-ball pressure in the playoffs. When teams load up, can they space the floor properly and make the
right I wonder if NBA teams is like looking at this video and going to be like, oh yeah, bro, we just got the answers to the
basis. This will probably determine if they can finally break through and make the NBA Finals.
Nuggets.
The Denver Nuggets had struggled for good stretches of 2026, but a hot end to the season has them as one of the biggest contenders. The biggest difference is this season.
Nuggets are going to be sitting back and watching Jokic like carry them, bro.
Plus of options on offense. Aaron Gordon has taken another leap as a ball handler.
48 minutes a game.
More offense through him. Maybe more importantly, though, after a very slow start to the season, Cam Johnson has finally looked like himself as he's shooting 45% from 3 since March, and he's punishing all the Jokic double teams with his shooting. This has given Denver more offensive options, which is why they still have the best offense in basketball. The concern, though, is on the defensive end, particularly with quickness. Most teams have succeeded against them by pushing tempo to find mismatches and using quick motion to create all sorts of confusion. On this one, the Jazz want to attack Nikola Jokic in the pick and roll. He then tells Aaron Gordon to take that screen instead, but by the time he does, Filipowski has already slipped the screen, so there's no resistance at the basket. Their perimeter defense as a whole has slipped a bit this season, and because their best defenders have been out for long stretches, this team doesn't have time to build that defensive continuity. What's going to make or break this team is David Adelman. Last year, he did a fantastic job cooking up hybrid man zones, especially against OKC, that significantly slowed down the game. He would have Jokic up really high, and it would take time for OKC to process what was going on before they got into their actions. And because his team has struggled with high-tempo offenses, Adelman is going to have to muck up the game again to give Denver a real shot at winning the title. With Jokic and Murray, the Nuggets are almost certainly going to be a tough out, but their defense will determine how far they can go. This final tier is the inner circle contenders.
Inner circle
the teams that should be the
contenders.
favorites to win it.
I mean,
all.
you're gonna see a
Each
Spurs
team
here, of course.
has a real path to
Thunder.
making and winning the finals. After what most people deemed as a gap year, the Boston Celtics are again contending
y'all think the Celtics have a chance to go to the finals?
for a championship. And for
Tatum
two
just came back about 3 weeks ago.
main reasons. The first is their suddenly great wing depth. Hugo Gonzalez is their standout rookie, who guards the opposing team's best player every night. Shireman and Jordan Walsh also have taken turns guarding great players, including SGA, and of course, with the likes of Tatum and Brown, they have enough fresh bodies to take on all these great perimeter players. This helps make up for their lack of front court depth with more speed and length. Watch for them to go small and put Tatum at the 5 for parts of the game. The other factor is a revamped offense. While this team is still a high ISO team, they have added much more motion to create more space for the ball handlers to drive. Without Tatum, this team would live with guard-to-guard screens, running them from the wing to open up more space for the ball handler to drive. And with Tatum back, they have added more flare screens to punish help defenders. Like here, Payton Pritchard sets a screen, so Brown has all this space on the right side to use, and when Hartenstein comes to help, Kata sets a nice flare on Chet, so that Shireman has a wide open 3. So going into the playoffs, the biggest factor is if their offense can execute in the clutch. Over the past 5 years, their offense has crumbled a bit because their offense gets very stagnant down the stretch. In the early 2020s, that was most apparent against the Miami Heat, and last year was even worse in the first 2 games against the Knicks, which is why they went out early. Now with a little more motion and variety, it's how they execute down the stretch that will determine how far they go.
Spurs, of course.
The Spurs had the greatest breakout this season.
If my Warriors don't win the
11th
finals,
seed
like I said, Spurs 100% winning.
second seed in just
Too
one
much
season.
time. As long
And
as
here's why they're
everybody
already
stays healthy, bro, you put them up against OKC in the Western Conference, bro. If the Thunder are lucky, it's going to 6 games. I got the Spurs facing the Thunder, full healthy Spurs lineup versus a healthy OKC lineup. I got it a 5-game series, bro. Too much talent. Bro, Wet Bananas is going crazy, bro, in the playoffs this year, bro. Mark my words. Hey, and don't even be surprised. I'm calling it right now. I think Wemby's going to get at least like a 65, 70-point game in the playoffs. Somebody, if it's not Wemby, somebody in the playoffs this year is getting something close to 80 points. After seeing that Ad the Mayo performance, it's going to happen.
Castle and Harper are all comfortable driving downhill, and I love it when they run misdirection, having Castle set screens to distract the defense and let Fox get downhill. These are the ways San Antonio has successfully attacked the basket, and this will be a huge asset when they face elite defensive teams like the Wolves and Thunder. Secondly, Wemby has taken the next step, not just offensively, but defensively. The Spurs have the second best defense because they love playing this one-man zone. They let Wemby just roam in the paint, while the other 4 guys are protecting the perimeter. He can then attend to anything from the mid-range to the paint, and the rest of the team rotates to the open guy. For example, Wemby is guarding Sam Hauser, who is a 45% three-point shooter. But as White drives, Wemby slides down in the paint, and Vassell then slides down between Hauser and Harper to attend to either guy. White looks like he had a layup, but the alien made him change that shot. The biggest thing to look for is how the Spurs defense handles teams that have stretch bigs. That way, teams will then bring Wemby in the pick and roll and drag him out, so the paint is much more wide open. Watch for how Wemby himself handles these, and if the Spurs have more counters to keep Wemby in the paint. The other factor is the youth of this team. The Spurs would be the youngest team to win the finals if they do, and they also have a very young coach, Mitch Johnson.
Damn, so the Spurs have a chance to make history, the youngest team to ever win.
Just last season, we saw multiple bright young head coaches make some questionable decisions in the playoffs, and Mitch Johnson will be tested in the same way.
And the Thunder.
The Thunder enter the playoffs as the favorite to go back-to-back. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will win his second MVP and has absolutely dominated the isolation game
MVP's going to Wemby, my boy.
once again. Watch for him to go to
it would have gone to Curry if he didn't miss that many games. That's the only reason.
That has buried multiple teams. After an SGA isolation, the Thunder's second-best offense is the Jared McCain-Isaiah Hartenstein pairing. McCain and Hartenstein love working together on these dribble handoffs to open up more shots for the guard, and these two alone were able to keep the Thunder as a top 10 offense without Shai or J-Dub on the floor. What will truly determine if they can repeat is their overall spacing. At times, this offense gets very stationary, so teams can run all sorts of funky coverages on them. If the Spurs and Thunder meet in the Western Conference Finals, watch for San Antonio to run that one-man zone extensively to take Shai out of the mid-range and force his teammates to make shots. The reason teams can do this is because the Thunder's role players can't shoot. Alex Caruso and Lou Dort have had some very bad shooting nights against some contenders this year, so look for teams to sell out completely to Shai and dare one of these guys to consistently beat them. And that then leads to my championship.
Let me see this
pick.
prediction.
After looking at all these teams throughout the season, my prediction is the Boston Celtics.
Man, hell nah, bro. Yo, come on, man. Is there something that I'm missing about the Celtics, bro? He's predicting the Celtics to win the finals? Bro, Tatum just came back 3 weeks ago. They don't have chemistry like that, bro. No, I'm sorry, they just don't. They're gonna lose to some team in the second round in like a 6-game series. Bro, if it's not the Warriors, everybody knows it's gonna be the Warriors. If it's not the Warriors, it's gonna be the Spurs, bro. Bro, if the Spurs play the Celtics, they're laughing to the trophy, bro. This is not even a competition. The Celtics?
Been about hunting mismatches, which was not a great recipe for success. But as mentioned, they made a lot of good changes to their offense this year.
How?
The spacing on each possession looks much better, and they have 4 to 5 different guys that can all attack the basket. This team is just much deeper than the past few years, so they don't have to rely on Tatum and Brown being superheroes every night to win. And it's because of the changes.
So who else? He didn't rely on Pritchard?
Instead of depending on an overly talented roster, that makes them my pick to win it all. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please feel free to like and subscribe.
Hey man, shout out to Daniel Lee. Very informative video. Hey man, we got everything we need to know before the 2026 NBA playoffs, man. Y'all spam it up in the chat, spam it up in the YouTube comments. Who do y'all got winning the 2026 NBA title coming June? You guys know it's the Warriors over here, man. If it ain't, all right, we got Lake Show, Shams provides updates, Luka Magic, and Reeves.
But Luka Doncic, he spent the last week in Spain, from my understanding, the majority of the time in Spain. He underwent multiple injection treatments in that hamstring to see if can he promote.
Wait, Luka was overseas this whole time?
Quick healing.
Bro, voice cracking at 30 straight.
Can he promote an expedited return in a lot of ways for him to be back? My understanding is he'll be back in the States on Tuesday, and then they're going to reevaluate him. Austin Reeves, he's out for majority of this first-round series.
Damn.
Most likely, probably the earliest for him is going to be that first week of May. So they have a tall task now facing Houston in this first round. But Luke,
I ain't gonna lie, man. If Luka don't come back by game 3, they getting swept. It sucks because, bro, the Lakers actually is on a pretty good run, bro, especially right after All-Star break. We got wet bananas reaction after sniffing smelling salts. So everybody's thing now. Wait, Wemby, you're not even playing, my boy. Yo, that dog Wemby got the headband, no socks on, slippers. Smelling salts is a new one, huh? We got Butler Jimmy on Instagram. I'm listed as doubtful for Wednesday's game against the Clippers. Hey, man, shout out to Butler waking up at 5 a.m. Jimmy, man. Still got to have that humor and everything like that. Hey, man, I don't know if anybody even knew. He is doubtful for Wednesday, just in case any NBA GMs did not catch on to that. We got Buddy Hield last night. 31 points, 12 of 18, 7 of 11 for 3. Why the fuck did y'all niggas throw him in the trade, bro? Is he going to be doing this in the playoffs? 1 in the chat, yes, or 2, no. We got the NBA's top selling jerseys for this past NBA season. You guys see it right here. Chef, look at Wardell Curry, man. Greatest player of all time and right now, man. You see it right there. I didn't make this shit up. It's right there in bold prints. The reason why the NBA is what it is right now, he is carrying the NBA. I've been said this. Bro, and check this out. He's missed at least 30 to 40% of this NBA season 2 with all those injuries, bro, and still had the #1 selling jerseys. And then following him is Luka. I ain't gonna lie, to Luka surprised me. I didn't know Luka had, like, I knew he was, like, top 10. I didn't know he was in the top 5 selling jerseys. And then this is a shocker right here. Brunson? Niggas be copping Brunson jerseys? I mean, I'm not opposed to it. He's an all-star. Wet Bananas is obviously, you know what I'm saying, that's obvious. LeBron! That's another obvious. Ant-Man, that's obvious. Tatum, that's obvious. SJ, obvious. Cooper, I like that one. That's obvious. Jokic, KD. Maxey, surprising in the top 15. Y'all wearing Maxey jerseys? Booker, Devin, this is, yeah. Cade, yes, this valid. And then LaMelo in the 15 spot. Anybody else that's missing in this top 15? I'm trying to think of some players. I'm surprised Ja isn't on here. Facts. Somebody just said in the chat. They just said pods. Kawhi, I ain't gonna lie. Kawhi surprising. I feel like Kawhi should be swapped out with Maxey And Josh should be swapped out with Brunson, like no glaze. I'm surprised Josh. I thought he was in the top 15. Okonkwo, facts. How is Okonkwo's jerseys not selling? That's crazy. I mean, shit, I don't make this up. This is the stats are here. All right. Moving on. Scotty 561 Barnes, facts. He has to be in there too. Bronny got to be in there. Bro, now, I ain't gonna lie. Bronny's jersey sales is gonna go up in the playoffs. Everybody know my man Bronny gonna be averaging 15 plus, spiking through the roofs. Harden should be on there too, low key. I ain't gonna lie. I think it's because Harden be bouncing to too many teams.